Doha was supposed to open the entire track and field season back in May. Instead, rising tensions across the Gulf forced organizers to pull the meet off the calendar completely. For weeks, nobody knew if it would happen at all. Now, rescheduled into the Khalifa International Stadium, it returns loaded with Olympic champions, a returning javelin king, and a hurdles world record that didn't exist a week ago. So what changed, and why does this delayed meet matter more than ever? So let me walk you through exactly why this rescheduled night matters so much. The original plan was simple and familiar. Doha was supposed to fire the starting gun on the 2026 season back on the 8th of May at the Qatar Sports Club, the same way it has launched so many seasons before. Then, the situation across the Middle East changed everything. With the conflict spilling into the region and air travel becoming unpredictable, organizers decided they could not guarantee the safe and smooth movement of athletes, officials, and fans. So they made the call to postpone, putting safety ahead of tradition. When they rebuilt the event for June, they also moved it somewhere smarter. Doha in summer is brutally hot, so the meet shifted from an open-air club to the Khalifa International Stadium, the climate-controlled arena that hosted the World Championships back in 2019. Inside those walls, the temperature is regulated, and the conditions are fast, which means the athletes can chase serious times without battling the desert heat. A postponement that started as bad news quietly handed the competitors a better stage. Now here is the part that turns a rescheduled meet into a genuinely massive one. The year 2026 has no Olympic Games and no World Championships. In most seasons, athletes treat the Diamond League as a tune-up on the road to a bigger global title. This year, there is no bigger title. The Diamond Trophy itself is the single greatest prize in track and field, and the champions of this series even earn automatic spots at the World Athletics Ultimate Championships. That raises the value of every single meeting on the calendar, and it puts a glaring spotlight on Doha, which now slots right into the heart of the season instead of opening it. That brings us to the man so many fans will be watching first. India's Neeraj Chopra is back in the javelin, and he is returning to a runway that holds a very special memory. It was right here in Doha last season that Chopra launched the spear out to 90.23 meters, smashing his own national record and finally breaking the famous 90-meter barrier. The Tokyo Olympic gold medalist and Paris silver medalist has stood on the Doha podium 5 separate times in his career, so this stadium feels like familiar ground. Coming into 2026, he has been carefully managing a shoulder concern, which makes his form one of the biggest question marks of the night. He faces a sharp field that includes Sri Lanka's Rumesh Tharanga Patharaj, and every throw he releases will tell us how ready his arm truly is for the season ahead. The javelin field around him is loaded too. Patharaj arrives as the world leader after launching a stunning 92.62 meters at the Rome Diamond League, a throw that vaulted him to 8th on the all-time world list and 2nd in Asia behind only Pakistan's Arshad Nadeem. Nadeem himself was originally named in the Doha field, but has since withdrawn, removing one Olympic champion from the runway but not the pressure. Reigning world champion Keshorn Walcott of Trinidad and Tobago lines up too, alongside former world champions Anderson Peters of Grenada and Julius Yego of Kenya. This marks Chopra's 4th straight year throwing in Doha. He won here in 2023 with a throw of 88.67 meters, finished 2nd in 2024, then broke through for that national record performance last year. 3 different results in 3 different years, and now a 4th chapter begins. While Chopra commands the field, the men's 110-meter hurdles might just steal the show on the track. The defending world and Diamond League champion Cordell Tinch of the United States arrives as the man to beat, carrying a personal best of 12.87 seconds that already ranks him among the fastest hurdlers in history. But there is a new shadow stretching across this event. Just days earlier, a stunning new world record of 12.75 was set at the American Collegiate Championships, resetting the entire conversation about how fast a human can fly over 10 barriers. That benchmark now hangs over everyone who steps to the line, and Tinch will be desperate to prove he can chase those numbers down. Then comes a homecoming of sorts. Morocco's Soufiane El Bakkali, the reigning Olympic champion and a 2-time world champion in the 3,000-meter steeplechase, has openly called Doha his second home. This is the city where he once ran a blistering time over 3,000 meters on the flat, and the Qatari crowd treats him almost like one of their own. Few athletes blend power and patience the way El Bakkali does over the barriers and the water jump, and watching him glide through a race that destroys most runners is one of the real treats of distance running. If he finds his rhythm early, the rest of the field will be racing for second. The women's events carry just as much firepower. Marilady Paulino of the Dominican Republic, the Paris Olympic champion over 400 meters, makes her first Diamond League appearance of the season right here in Doha. She is one of the most dominant one-lap runners on the planet, and her season debut gives us an early read on whether anyone can challenge her in 2026. Over in the triple jump, Thea Lafon carries the pride of an entire nation. She became the very first Olympic gold medalist in the history of Dominica, and every time she explodes down that runway, she reminds the world that a tiny island can produce a giant of the sport. There is also a hometown hero making his season debut. Qatar's own Mutaz Essa Barshim steps into the high jump in front of the crowd that has cheered him on for over a decade. The three-time Olympic medalist has competed in this stadium before, and there is something different about watching a Qatari athlete chase a podium on Qatari soil. After a rescheduled meet that almost slipped off the calendar entirely, having Barshim walk out to a full home crowd feels like the perfect symbol of a night that refused to disappear. The energy inside Khalifa International Stadium tends to shift the moment his name is called, and tonight that reaction could carry extra weight. Beyond the headliners, the rest of the card is stacked from start to finish. The schedule rolls through the women's 100 meters, the men's 200, the women's 800, the men's 1500, the long 5,000 meters, and a full slate of field events. Across 14 Diamond League disciplines, split evenly between 7 men's events and 7 women's events, there is barely a dull moment from the first race to the last jump. The organizers built this program to deliver Olympic and world medalists in nearly every event, and they delivered. The meeting will also reach fans well beyond Qatar, broadcast across more than 170 countries and territories worldwide. So why does one night in Doha carry this kind of weight? Because in the Diamond League, points are everything. Every win, every podium finish, and every personal best banks crucial points that decide who qualifies for the season-ending final in Brussels. Doha lands in the middle of the schedule, sitting between the Oslo meeting earlier in June and the Paris meeting that follows soon after. That timing makes it a true momentum swing. One huge performance here can rocket an athlete to the top of the standings, while one quiet night can quietly end a title dream before the summer even peaks. With the Diamond Trophy standing as the biggest prize of the entire year, nobody can afford to coast through Qatar. Doha sits right in the middle of a long season. This is the 7th stop out of 15 total meetings on the calendar, a circuit that opened in Shanghai back in May and will not close until the 2-day final in Brussels in early September.